awakening-together.org.
We are awakening
together.
Let things be exactly as they are. You can't change me, and you can't change God. So let things be exactly as they are. And you and me will live in peace. Hello and welcome. I'm Reverend Yolanda.
And I'm Reverend Glenn Morton Ganaway, Integral Mentor.
Together we host Awakening and A Course in Miracles,
an interfaith perspective.
This is A Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary.
Free will does not mean that you could establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time.
The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance.
The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God.
So let things be exactly as they are. You can't change me, and you can't change God. So let things be exactly as they are. And you and me will live in peace. Today we are, and I also today have a new song I'm going to share with you.
Oh, good. That's
brand new that I just finished recording and producing and mastering. So that's coming up in the middle of our lesson, which today's lesson is, chapter 10, The Idols of Sickness.
I know, and they are idols, aren't they?
Ooh. And we have a visitor.
Oh, we always have a visitor.
We have a visitor.
We have a visitor of our kitty. You gonna show the kitty, honey? If I'll give you a chance to look up this. It's from A Course in Miracles. It's from chapter 10. We're going to look at the introduction, and we're going to look at section 1. Okay, the introduction and section 1. And I've got a couple of images I'd like to share with you. But before we get into those images, I'd like to remind you that the course has very specific notions about how it is to be read and what's actually in it. Oh, look, Arizona's joined us.
Hi, Arizona.
Hey, Missy. So the Course in Miracles has a very specific idea of how it is to be used. And I call it the scientific method. It is very ethical, and it's a way of using these ideas to prove that they're true. So, without further ado, I'm going to see if I can manage to bring this up.
And Gracie's going to dance to it. It's called the Workbook Instructions.
The overall aim of the exercises is to increase your ability to extend the ideas you will be practicing to include everything. This will require no effort on your part. The exercises themselves meet the conditions necessary for this kind of transfer. Some of the ideas the workbook presents you will find hard to believe, and others may seem
commanded to do. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. Remember only this: you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept them. You need not even welcome them. And some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy. Do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas your workbook contains, and whatever your reaction to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required. Nothing more than that is required. Nothing more than that is required.
Why is that a valuable lesson? Why is that valuable to know? Or is that, how do you work with that to prove that it's true, or to prove that it's as something that you can work with, right? Because a lot of what we do in our lives is make decisions or try to move in a direction of greater peace.
Right.
Now, greater peace doesn't mean less conflict or less struggle. It means we know what to do.
Right.
It means we're in the right place to do what is ours to do. Because I guarantee you, our heroes, Gandhi, King, Malcolm, Fred, all of these people were dealing with very, very tense situations. Right. And they moved through those tense situations to bring greater peace.
Right.
Moving through and being in a difficult station, being in a difficult place, or even being upset does not mean that peace isn't also there. Remember that the Course in Miracles says that joy is your default setting. So if joy is your default setting, you can withstand anything. You are powerful, you are strong, you are known, you are seen, and you are heard, whether you believe it or not. It is so important that in these times we know that it's not important that we believe what is right. It is important that we do what is right. Because there are a lot of people who believe incorrectly, and there is no amount of belief that will change the truth. It does not matter how many people believe that something is wrong. It's never going to be okay. It can be very difficult if everybody is moving in one direction, and the right direction isn't that direction for you. If it is yours to do, you will have endless energy and calm and peace toward what is yours to do. It does not mean that the world changes and suddenly becomes, a field of daisies, right? It means that you are able to do what is yours to do with confidence and joy and endless energy, energy for it. So the way that we can really accomplish that in difficult situations with friends and family and our community, and maybe even a Facebook conversation, or a Twitter conversation. You ever been in a Twitter war? Your phone is like updating itself so faster than you can respond to the next thing. You ever been in one of those situations? It's important to know that form doesn't have meaning in those situations, so that I can make a reasonable decision and don't get caught up in wrestling with pigs in the mud. Right?
We don't want to get in the mud.
You can get sidetracked by trying to fight something that is designed to get you to stop doing what you're doing. Instead of focusing your energy on what is yours to do, we try to stop what we don't want to see happening. That's the difference. There.
That's a great point.
So with that, let me talk to you about some images, okay? Let me see if I can share this screen and see how that works, okay? Boom, to boop, to boop, to boop, to boop. Let's see if I could share a screen, share And yes. Okay, share. All righty. There we are.
Did it work?
How does that look?
You can see it?
You can see it? All right.
Cool.
So here we have a advertisement from Mac Brush Company, and it is they're sign painting brushes. See if I can make that any better.
It's good.
All right.
Just scroll.
All right. And the sign painting brushes, and this is the idea that the world is not happening to us; we are happening to the world. Okay, and we are going to use the world in this medium that we're in, physical form, chairs, tables, the trees and everything like that, as our medium. Well, not trees. This is not trees, but physical objects.
Right.
So, and we are going to use the world and use form as an art form, or we're going to use our art and our creativity to just put labels on things. And if you've ever been labeled incorrectly, you know that that's a problem.
Oh, I see what you're getting
Right.
at. Okay.
So either we're going to take our creativity, our natural creativity, the Course says your function is to create, like God creates.
Right.
So if our function is to create, we are creating the world. And if we are creating the world and the world is a reflection of ourselves, then we can use that creative energy to either label everything, like say this black and white, left, right, up, down, very dualistic system. That's called chopping up the world, right, into little manageable pieces.
Right.
That can be valuable, but she's asking us to see the world as a one reflection of our beliefs, right? Because we are one person, so the world is one. We are one love. We are one life living. So the world is one reflection.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do the paintbrushes mean?
The paintbrushes
I'm not really clear.
Are a symbol or a way for me, the way I understand that I can use a paintbrush to create a sign. Like these are sign painting brushes.
Right.
I can use a paintbrush to label things, to create signs of things. Or use them to paint the world the way I want.
Okay.
The way I want to, the way it should, the way I want it to, the way I want to experience it.
Okay, cool. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So this is
so building blocks.
Building blocks for kids. So we're building the world to recreate. We are actually physically taking form and building what we want to see in the world. It actually is something that we inherently do, and it can be fun. But it's also a learning tool. The world is teaching us what we believe. So we're teaching and learning and creating like a child plays with building blocks. Okay?
Got it. Okay.
And this is what I wrote. You can read this with me. We have met our guide, and now we've learned about the importance of our mighty companions. Very often we forget the most ubiquitous companion, the world. If there is only one life, then the world is our body. It's here to support our knowledge and development and to show us how we think, and even the effects of our creative energies. We have opinions about what the world is and certainly what our immediate bodies are supposed to do and mean. We're seduced by our opinions and the opinions of others. We label, judge, and misperceive our surroundings all the time. In truth, they are there reflecting our worldview. When we can see the world as it is, without a need to change anything, we're able to see how we want to create in this medium. No need to label things and cut up reality. Let us use it to create more meaning and express the love of who we are. Our guide, the Holy Spirit, our friends, and our world are here to help. The world is here to help.
That's so true.
It is very true. So does the world is the world a cooperative component for you? Does the world help with that?
Well, it does in ways that I sometimes don't particularly like, but I go ahead and use the world around me to see what's standing in my way. And then I try to work with that and use whatever Course in Miracles tool I have at hand for the day to walk through that situation. I'm finding myself in sticky situations where I want to make immediate reactions, and then I try to calm down and listen to the voice that likes me and find out how to respond in a way that's different than just an immediate,
Yep.
knee-jerk reaction.
Because we are responsible. We are not alone in the effects of our thinking.
We're not alone in the effects of our
Right.
thinking.
So if you're not alone in the effects of your thinking, how you react to the world and what you think has to change or live or die or suppress or expand or support or anything like that has actual effects on yourself, and it has effects on the world.
On the world
it has
around us,
effects on the way that we perceive and such. So with that idea, let's get to the text, and we're almost ready for a song. I'm glad this is a short lesson.
Good, yeah. Do you want to play the song first before we do the text? Okay.
No.
All right, because it'll blend in.
It's going to blend in great. So, A Course in Miracles in chapter 10, The Idols of Sickness, says this in the introduction. It says, nothing beyond yourself can make you fearful or loving, because nothing is beyond you. Time and eternity are both in your mind and will conflict until you perceive time as solely a means to regain eternity. You cannot do this as long as you believe that anything happening to you is caused by factors outside yourself.
Yeah.
You must learn that time is solely at your disposal and that nothing in the world can take this responsibility from you. You could violate God's laws in your imagination, but you cannot escape from them. They were established for your protection and are as inviolate as your safety. And I wrote, the real world is not frightening, and nothing is out to get us.
There you go.
The universe has agency for our health and well-being. It supports our health and well-being, right? When we think otherwise, we're just frightening ourselves and teaching that to others. When you think that the world doesn't support your well-being, you actually ask the world to prove that's true. That would be another way of saying
exactly.
So the first question we get to, where are your idols of sickness? Is, are you safe in the world? Is the world a safe place for you?
Right.
Now, I realize that if you're differently able, okay, you're trans, you're queer, you're black, you're a woman, it can be physically more dangerous. Okay?
Yes.
And I'm not negating any of that.
Right.
But we all know people who are just like us who do not experience the world as we experience it. We know people that are very much like us that experience a more safe world than we live in. And we know of those that experience a less safe world than we live in. The common denominator there is what we believe in, how not what we believe is how we participate in the world. Right. Whether or not we are taking responsibility for what she asks us to do here. Nothing in the world can take this responsibility from you. Okay, that we must operate in time and in our minds to prove eternity. Now, what does that mean? It means getting into the moment allows us to make better decisions so that we can choose decisions that lead us in the direction of greater peace, greater happiness, and greater safety.
Right.
Okay?
That's what I was speaking to earlier when I was talking about, tempering my reactions or being careful about my knee-jerk reactions, because I am on the subway a lot. I do that on purpose. I interact with the public in a way, or the public interacts with me in a way that sometimes brings people to me who question me and who am I and what do I do, and talk to me in disrespectful ways sometimes, and this, that, and the other. So
and the opposite as well.
And the opposite as well. So I do have to navigate and pay attention to where I am and what's going on, and pay attention to the lesson of the day and what Holy Spirit has for me to say and do at each moment.
Right. So peace and safety come from
Right.
obeying God's laws,
Exactly. Yeah.
understanding them,
Yeah.
and using them to create a more safe place, a more safe world for yourself and others.
Mhm.
And I guarantee you that if you're creating a more safe place for you, you are creating a more safe
It's a
place
world
for
for
others.
other people. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
Totally.
in the next paragraph, in the introduction, she says, God created nothing besides you, and nothing beside you exists,
Wow.
for you are part of him. Do you believe that?
Mm.
What except God can exist? Nothing beyond God can happen, because nothing except God is real.
Right.
Your creations add to God as you do,
Mhm.
but nothing is added that is different, because everything has always been.
Right.
What can upset you except the ephemeral? And how can the ephemeral be real if you are God's only creation and he created you eternal? Your holy mind establishes everything that happens to you. I'm going to read that to you again.
Mhm.
Tattoo this on your, your arm. Your holy mind establishes everything that happens to you. Your holy mind establishes everything that happens to you.
Your holy mind establishes everything that happens to you.
Every response you make to everything you perceive is up to you,
Right.
because your mind determines your perception of it. She just restates it.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow, I love that.
Every response you make to everything.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so there isn't anything outside. No exceptions.
Every response you make to everything you perceive is up to you, because your mind determines your perception of it.
Right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So you say what its meaning is, and she has another portion in a place in the course. She goes, if you don't know what to do, ask what is it for?
Yeah.
That's a good thing to remember.
Mhm.
What is it for? Maybe that'd be a better tattoo. What is it for? So I wrote.
But I love that. Your holy mind establishes everything that happens to
Right.
you. I
Your
love
holy
that.
mind,
Wow.
not your mind.
Your holy mind. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. Mhm.
What we mostly deal with is our own opinions about what we see and feel.
Mhm.
We don't encounter what's really here.
Mhm.
We can't until we're able to recognize our opinions.
Mm.
We can experience what is true if we let go of them. These are opinions. Let
Mhm.
go of your opinions,
Mhm.
because you get to like what you like. You know,
Mhm.
we're not talking about right or wrong. We're talking about whether or not you can recognize your opinions at this point.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
question is, how do we greet the material world? What is your modus operandi? What is your go-to way of being in the world?
Okay. How do we greet the material world?
Right.
What
When
is
you
your-
leave the house,
Uh-huh.
do you just expect everything to go wrong for you?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Is the world out to get you?
Right.
Do you
Okay.
do you introduce yourself? Like, hello, my name is Glenn, and this is my Chip.
Yeah,
Oh,
chip
my-
on my shoulder. Yeah. I get it. Now I see what you're saying.
You know,
Okay, yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
out to get me. Everything's wrong. And we all have those moments.
Right.
But the idea she's asking you to practice here is getting used to the idea of asking yourself whether this is an opinion, a preference, or whether or not this is actually true or not.
I get it. That's great.
So how do you greet the world? What's your modus operandi? How do what's your default? What are the way?
Who can turn the world on with a smile?
Who could turn on nothing?
And totally
So-
make
so-
it all seem worthwhile. Well, it's you, girl, and you should know
That's
it.
her.
That's kind of how I try to see the world.
My mother has a sunny disposition,
She
and
does.
I got to marry somebody with a sunny disposition.
Love is all around, no need to face it.
Yeah, and 70s sitcoms. That's it, very important. So how do you greet the material world?
Yeah.
Like love is all around.
Yeah, I mean, that is how I greet the material world. That's basically how I go about my day and see what happens.
I know, it's
See how it
wonderful.
falls together.
So why don't we see if we can share again?
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, I just wrote this song. I'm creating a new CD, and I'm going to call the CD Yolanda Nanda.
I love it.
So these collection of songs are going to be based around different mantras. And this first one I wrote is based on the mantra Wahe Guru, meaning our inner teacher, or as Glenn likes to say, the voice that likes you. You can just click on
are expressions of the greatest of the greatest. The sacred mystery that eliminates the darkness from our minds and turns us toward the light of love. We are blessed with this glorious journey. Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh. I live to tell it is well with my soul. I have confidence in who I am. We live to tell our stories together. I have confidence in who we are. Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh. Listen to the voice that likes you. She will tell you we are one. So let us dance into the oneness together. With confidence in who we are. The light in you sees the light in me. We shine together in glory. Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh, Waheguru Ji Kal Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Fateh.
Here at Awakening and A Course in Miracles, we don't do this alone. We do this as a part of a community. So thank you, Lynn and Regina and Dove and everyone who makes this space possible. Awakening Together is an assembly of equals joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. Within the appearance of many faiths and many cultures and many symbols, we seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. So consider visiting awakening-together.org and clicking on the donate button. Here at Awakening Together Sanctuary, we are so glad that you are here.
Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha.
Wee doggies indeed. We are so
There
glad
she
that
is.
you are here. I'm Reverend Glenn Morton Ganner, your favorite Anarchist preacher, and I'm here with the love of my life, the Reverend Yolanda.
Hi, y'all.
And we'd like to welcome you to the show as I end the sharing.
Okay, there we go.
Begin the sharing, or whatever version of sharing that we're doing here, sharing.
Okay.
We are looking today at chapter 10. We're looking at section or chapter 10, the idols of sickness, or the sickness of idols.
The idols of sickness.
The idols of sickness.
And this seems to be
Section 1.
Section 1, yeah.
It's called At Home in God.
Mm.
What is that home in God? What does that have to do with the material world?
Wow. Oh, we were just reading the introduction, so now I'm a little confused. So hold on a second.
Well, see, you know that not every chapter has an introduction, but you know that if you are getting an introduction, it's going to be an important chapter.
Oh, apparently so.
Right. So we are living in the material world.
Right.
And she asks us, how do we deal with being spiritual people in a material world?
Right.
And she says the rule is
That
every response that you make to everything
thing you perceive is up to you. Yeah, I want to read that whole thing again. Starting with your holy mind. Your holy mind establishes everything that happens to you. That's just deep.
Yeah. It means that you have a responsibility.
Right. Every response you make to everything you perceive is up to you because your mind determines your perception of it.
It's up to you.
Okay, so that's the introduction.
I know.
Okay, now you're
Section 1.
bringing us to section 1. Okay, gotcha.
She writes, do you know your creations?
You do not know.
See, that's why it's important to have two people here. You do not know your creations simply because you would decide against them as long as your mind is split. And to attack what you have created is impossible.
Right.
But remember that it is as impossible for God. See,
okay.
Something's impossible for God. What do you think that would be? Listen, the law of creation is that you love your creations as yourself because they're part of you. Everything that was created is therefore perfectly safe because the laws of God protect it by his love or by God's love.
Right.
Any part of your mind that does not know this has banished itself from knowledge because it has not met its conditions. Who could have done this but you? Recognize this gladly, for in this recognition lies the realization that your banishment is not of God and therefore does not exist.
Wow.
Okay. You have a split mind because you want a split mind. But you have a split mind because we want to believe that some illusions are more true than others.
Yeah.
We are creative children of God. There's no way around it. Apple trees produce apples.
Right.
Gods produce God. God produces gods. Right. We are creative children of God. Look at the world and its diversity and novelty. It's how we can experience ourselves. Don't worry, what's real isn't going away, just our opinions about what it means. We can use the world to prove we're separate or at home. It's our choice. We can use the world to prove that we're separate. Or we can use the world to prove that we're home.
Beautiful.
The question is, how at home are you in the world? It can be tough. I'm not offering this as something that's easy to do.
It's simple, yeah. I mean, well, it is simple, but it's not easy. Yeah,
it's simple, but it's not easy. How at home are you in the world? Hold that in your mind while we go to the next paragraph.
Okay.
You are at home in God, dreaming of exile, but perfectly capable of awakening to reality. It is.
Is it?
Is it your decision to do so?
She asked us a question.
I know. That's why I use this format. You are at home in God, dreaming of exile.
Mm.
Okay, you think you've been thrown out of the kingdom,
Right.
or thrown out of the garden, or whatever
Mhm.
like that. That's
Right,
what you
right.
think.
Yeah, exactly.
Exile. You're in exile.
Right.
Welcome
You've
to the Antifada.
Right. You've been thrown out of
You've
the
been
garden.
thrown
I
out of the
like
garden.
that you said that. Yeah.
You recognize from your own experience that what you see in dreams you think is real while you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the instant you waken, you realize that everything would seem to happen in the dream is
Did not happen
right,
at all.
didn't happen at all.
Uh-huh.
You do not think this is strange,
Uh-huh.
even though all the laws that you awakened to were violated while you slept.
Uh-huh.
You didn't matter.
You didn't
Right?
think that was strange.
Yeah.
That dream was so weird, but you didn't.
I was like, you
it was
were
a
like
dream.
freaking out in the dream. You were
Right.
like, oh, this is happening. Oh,
Mhm.
this is happening.
Right.
It's not possible.
Is
it not possible that you were merely shifted from one dream to another without really waking?
Gosh, I love how she does that.
Right.
Ties this all
Okay, so
together.
it's the way your mind, she's asking you to learn how your mind works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Your mind doesn't care if it's told a lie.
Right.
Your mind doesn't care if it's living in an illusion.
That's
it
right.
doesn't care.
Right.
You care
Yeah, you care.
because one thing
Uh-huh.
brings suffering and another brings peace.
Uh-huh.
You know, one thing brings the death of your body, which is a frightening thing to happen for a lot of us. And the other thing becomes your stance and the knowledge of your place at being at home in eternity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a difficult concept once you understand how your mind works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the world supports your seeing clearly and your awakening. Okay, it must, or we couldn't be here, right? We want to see clearly, don't we? Until we make a decision to use all form as a tool to wake up, we'll exist in some form of a dream world of our opinions
Yeah.
and the faulty structures that those opinions create.
Yes, you're so right. Oh my God, that's
Mhm.
true. Yeah.
There is a great deal of support for that in the world to
Mhm.
create faulty structures.
Right.
Right.
There is. Yeah.
Right. We see it all over us.
Mhm.
The question is, what forms still help you sleep and not see? Or what forms, what institutions, what
Uh-huh.
beliefs, what ways of thinking, what
Uh-huh.
communities, what friends
Right.
help you stay asleep, encourage you to stay
Right.
asleep?
Right.
Can you recognize them?
Mm.
She hasn't asked you to do anything about them yet.
Mm.
She's asking you, one of these things is not like the other.
Mm.
One is true, you could work with it, and the other one promises things that it cannot deliver on,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So let's continue. Would you bother to reconcile what happened in conflicting dreams, or would you dismiss both together if you discovered that reality is in accord with neither?
How about that?
Right? Would it be so difficult to reject a dream if you knew what reality really was? Of course not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if you've ever been really in love, if you've ever fallen in love, you realize that you were never in love before,
Right.
but you thought you were.
Right.
And there's no, I mean, that doesn't make you a bad person.
Mm-mm.
It just means you didn't know until you knew,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Would you bother to reconcile what happened in conflicting dreams? Get two different. You got the dream of reality where you believe all these things that are wrong,
Mhm.
or the dreams of your subconscious trying to work out the stuff, your trauma, which is
Mhm.
what dreams are.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or would you dismiss both together, say neither of these are real?
Mhm.
If you discovered that reality isn't either of those things,
Right.
would you be willing to discover what reality was?
Mhm.
Do you not remember being awake?
Hmm.
When you hear the Holy Spirit, you may feel better because loving then seems possible to you. But you do not remember yet that it was once so. She calls this a course of remembering. Remember?
Right. Uh-huh.
And it is in this remembering that you will know that it can be so again.
Okay.
This is possible.
What is possible?
What is possible has not yet been accomplished. Yet what has once been is so now, if it is eternal, which makes it real. If if it really is peace, joy, love, knowledge, if those things actually what you thought were, those things won't change no matter what reality or what you believe. When you remember, you will know what you remembered is eternal and therefore is
now.
There's your clue.
Yeah, there you go.
Where do you want to be now? Where's
Now.
home? Now. Where's safety? Now, reality, this is what I wrote. Reality doesn't obey your opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that? Reality doesn't obey your opinions. Reality is reliable.
Yeah.
Our teacher, the guide, and our friends, right? Because you're letting go. Remember that first paragraph? Are you safe? Are you contributing to institutions and things that help you fall asleep? Once you recognize that, you don't participate in it anymore.
Right.
So your friends, whether they're good friends, bad friends, acting well, treat you well, or anything like that, the people around you are actually showing you the direction of your good. Every single time they interact with you, they're showing you the direction of your good. They're showing you what you believe and how you think the world operates.
Okay.
Reality doesn't obey your opinions,
Right?
Because it's reliable.
Exactly.
If you know anybody who's shifted all over the time by who's ever standing in front of them, whose opinions change depending on who's talking,
right?
Some very famous people that happens to.
Right.
Our teacher, the guide, and our friends help us and show us and model for us how to interact with form, with things, our bodies, food, the world, and its reflection of who and what we are. Our friends are helping us do this. The world is helping us do this. Very, very, very gently, I would add. Okay? We are beginning to see ourselves in the world, not as form, but as whole and complete. Like the world is whole and complete. It's a whole and complete system. The earth spins and nobody has to tell it what to do. All these laws of physics and the whole system where the beetles and the ants and the fungi and the trees and the birds and the cows and everything is working together to make sure that the world stays alive and the flow of stuff. How does this all work? The world is one thing. We're one thing. We're a part of that. We're not different. We are that. We are the world. We are physics. We are science. We are
the
reality.
Animals, the trees,
we are
the
what doesn't change. Reality doesn't obey your opinion about it. And be grateful for that.
Yeah.
But here we are. If the world supports us, what would you do? If that's all really true, and the world is here to make our lives, to support our lives and our unfoldment and our expression, our self-expression, what do you want to do? How can we use form to teach us about reality? How do we use things to teach us about reality? I would say that computers often show me what I think about reality.
Really? In what way?
They're capricious
and frustrating
and not reliable. That sometimes the buttons work and sometimes they don't. How many times have you called me up you called me at work and says, "Glenn, the computer stopped working."
I know.
And it's like, what happened? He goes, I wasn't doing with the classic lines. I wasn't doing anything. It just stopped. So
it's true. It happens.
So examine those things that happened in your life. Examine the patterns that happened in your life, especially the things that frustrate you, and examine what your beliefs about them are, what you think they're for. They're actually supporting your ability to understand and awaken and change your behavior. They're trying to get us to awaken and to be more full in our own self-expression, to listen clearer, to be more of a deep presence in the world. That's what all of this is for. If we can, and this is the lesson I continually learn, is slow down, breathe, get into the moment, and then I'm able to make a better decision. Because when I make decisions based on being frustrated at how difficult it is to work a computer program, I generally don't usually solve the computer program. I have to get up and go have a pint of ice cream and then come back and maybe I could maybe I could do that. I don't know. Whatever it is that it takes to get you into the moment.
Right.
Learn about what that is.
Right.
We listen to mantra here a lot in our house. We meditate. We're honest about talking about actions and not people.
Right.
right? What you did, what you said. These are actions that you took, not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So the meaning of an action is a lot easier to talk about for human beings
Mm-hmm.
than the meaning of who someone is.
Right.
It's just easier to talk about. And we're going to be, and we would maybe differ according to what we think humans are and humans are for, depending on what sort of system and language that we want to, system of languages we want to talk in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can all agree about what actions are decent actions
Yeah.
given a situation.
Right. Exactly.
And so being present to who you are, being present to the mind of God where we have our being, being present to what you are to do, what is yours to do, allows us to make decisions that actually bring our friends, bring mighty companions to ourselves, bring the appropriate teachers to ourselves, attract, what we need to accomplish in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really do believe that. And let's all right. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the final altar. Let's do the altar call, and then we're going to sign out. Okay. So the altar call is like a couple of sentences. Why don't you read it?
Oh, do you want some music into it?
Well, it's okay. We don't.
Yeah,
we got 4 minutes here.
Okay. So Glenn likes to call these little sections in her text in the Course in Miracles the altar call, because he feels like at the end of each section, Helen tends to sum up everything.
She's a good writer. Her and Jesus is a good tag team.
Yeah.
Good tag team creative writing.
And when we were growing up in churches in the South, they would always have an altar call at the end of the service, and they would wind everything up. So this is what we call the altar call for this chapter.
She sums up this section.
And it goes like this. You will remember everything the instant you desire it wholly. For if to desire wholly is to create, you will have willed away the separation, returning your mind simultaneously to your Creator and your creations. Knowing them, you will have no wish to sleep, but only the desire to waken and be glad. Dreams will be impossible because you will only want the truth. And being at last your will, it will be yours.
So
Wow.
the key there is to desire it wholly.
Yeah,
Desire what is yours to do wholly.
exactly.
WHOLEY. Desire what is yours to do wholly, and there won't be any stopping you.
Yeah,
Right.
beautiful.
You'll need other people to accomplish it, but that's what we're about. I'm Reverend Glenn Morton Ganaway, your favorite anarchist preacher, and I'm here with the love of my life, Yolanda, and I want to make sure that you know that if you listen to the voice that likes you, she will tell you that we are one, and even better, she'll tell you how to act like it.
So let us dance into the oneness together.
This body that you see, I am as God created me.
And you've been listening to Awakening and A Course in Miracles with Reverend Yolanda and Reverend Glenn. I'm Reverend Yolanda, and you can learn more about me and join my mailing list, listen to my music, and much, much more at www.yolanda.net.
You can learn more about me and join my mailing list and listen to my podcasts at www.glennganaway.com.
Together we are
The Mighty Companions,
an edutainment ministry whose purpose is to co-create community that inspires us all to live the calling of Spirit.
With ACIM as the primary guide, we co-create worship, entertainment, gatherings, lectures, and workshops.
You can find out more at www.themightycompanions.com.
This has been brought to you by Bearded Lady Productions, LLC.
That's Bearded Lady Productions, LLC.com.
And you and me will live in peace. Let things be exactly as they are. You can't change me, and you can't change God. So let things be exactly as they are. And you and me
Awakening
Together.org.
We are awakening together.
Alrighty, that's the show. Thanks, y'all. Good night.